This starts identity. Schema is a self-given label. Identity is the individual concept related to the groups which we belong to. Gender. So androgyny is when you have both male and female characteristics. Some cultures have a third gender where you have a male, biological male with female characteristics. Ethnicity and nationality. Ethnicity is more common ancestry, heritage, and language, whereas nationality is more political borders. There's a lot of ethnicities in America, but nationally, we're all Americans. Self-evaluation. The ideal self is the person we want to be, but the ought self is a representation of the way others think we should be. This is how we ought to be. Self-efficacy is the belief in success, which leads to overconfidence. Um, the locus of control is the way we characterize influences in our lives. An internal locus of control is that we control our fates. It's effective. MCAT studiers do that. External is lives are dependent on outside factors. Freudian stages, OAPLG. Oral is fixation of the mouth, and if you can't get past this stage, you'll become very dependent. The anal stage is located around toilet training, and if you can't get past this, you become orderly and messy. The phallic stage has the adipole complex, latency of the libido, which is sublimated, and then genital stage, which previous stages are complete in normal heterosexual relationships. Erikson had basically had a psychosocial theory. And essentially, these are different stages we develop through in our life. These are more like, this is like ages like 0 to teen, whereas this is your whole life. So Erickson starts off with trust and mistrust. And the question here is, can I trust the world? The next question is autonomy versus doubt. Can I be autonomous? Can I be myself? Initiative versus guilt. Can I move and can I act? Can I take the initiative to do what I want to do? Industry versus inferiority. Will I make it? Uh, you know, am I going to be able to do whatever I want? Identity versus role. Who am I? What will I be? Intimacy. Uh, Intimacy versus isolation. Can I love? This is really where you have families that are made. This is around like age of like 30. Um, Gen versus stagnation. Can I make my life count? This is kind of like before the 50s. And in 50s, you kind of look back and you be like, was it okay to have been me? And that's integrity versus despair. Kohlberg had a different theory, and essentially what he would do is if you answer a certain question, you would be put into the pre-conventional, conventional, and the post-conventional. So the pre-conventional is with moral choice. It includes rewards and punishment. So the first stage is obedience, avoiding punishment, and the second stage is self-interest, gaining rewards. Conventional morality is accepting social rules. So stage 3 is conformity, approval of others, and stage 4 is law and order, the social order. So, Heinz, the man with the drugs, which is the classic example, wouldn't steal because it would put the drug dealer out of business. And then the post-conventional is abstract principles. So, 6 is social contract. Having morals lead to the greater good, and human ethics, where decisions are made up using abstract principles. Vygotsky was another educational psychologist, and the zone of proximal development essentially says skills skills are developed through another person who is knowledgeable in order to gain certain skills. Freud also had personality. His was called the id, ego, and the superego. So the id are primal inborn urges to survive. And the ego is actually in conflict with the id, where it delays the id. So, for example, you could eat now. Your body, your id would say, eat the food now. Whereas your ego would say, save the food, but we're going to eat it later. And then the superego is the personality's perfectionist. The two parts of the superego are the conscious and the ego ideal. The conscious is a collection of improper actions, and the ego ideal is the proper actions that give us rewards. Freud also had a bunch of defense mechanisms. So repression is unconscious forgetting, And suppression is forced conscious forgetting issues. Regression is returning to an earlier stage of development, and the example that they use is like whenever a husband talks to a wife, he talks in a baby voice. Reaction formations and impulse, which is transformed to the opposite. So two coworkers may be attracted to each other, but they fight. Projection is attributing desires onto someone else. Rationalization is justifying beliefs and actions. Displacement, changing the target of emotion, taking it out on another. You could have had a really crappy day at work, but you can come back and take it out on a family member. Sublimation, unacceptable behavior is turned to a socially accepted behavior. So the example the book uses is a boss is attracted to his employee, but the boss becomes a mentor to the employee. Carl Jung has the collective unconscious. It's a system shared by humans. Archetypes include the persona, which is the aspect of personality we present to the world. The anime, which is the man's inner woman. So if you want to remember, men watch anime. So man's inner woman. In animus, it's the woman's inner man. So you can think of it as animus in Assassin's Creed. The man goes inside the tube, and then the shadow, which is the unpleasant, unacceptable behavior in the conscious. Adler created the inferiority complex, which is like, you're not good enough, which leads to a drive for superiority. Humanists were Maslow and Carl Rogers. Maslow had his hierarchy of needs, and Carl Rogers had unconditional acceptance for his patients, and the Greek believed the behavior is controlled by humors. Somatotypes. Type A people are competitive and compulsive, whereas Type B people are laid back and relaxed. Traits of personalities. You've got ocean, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Neuroticism is basically how much arousal you have in stressful situations. Cardinal traits are traits we organize our life around. Central traits are easily interpreted major traits, and secondary traits are traits that are behind closed doors. So basically, to review, the self-esteem, you've got the ideal self and the ought self. The locus of control, you've got internal and external loci of control. Freud stages, there's the oral, anal, phallic, latent, and genital stages. Kohlberg's morality, pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. And then we've got Freud's id, ego, and superego. Humanist, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and Rogers' unconditional positive regard. The different types of personalities. So psychotism is nonconformity, extrovert, psychotism is nonconformity, extroversion is tolerance, and neuroticism is arousal in stressful situations. And then the theories, so behaviors are more operant, and rewards and punishments lead to behaviors. Whereas biological theorists say genes lead to behaviors, and behaviors are rewards and punishments lead to behavior. So, yep.